They say mountains don't move, but after nearly 4 decades in structural engineering, let me tell you, they absolutely do. Not always fast, not with a bang, but they shift, they breathe, and sometimes they just plain give up. You learn to see it in the soil, in the way a slope curves, in the way water traces a line down rock, eating at it day after day. Maybe that's why, when I bought my house on the ridge in Marlow Heights, I didn't see the view first. I saw the risk, saw the wild slope falling 35 feet into the canyon, all raw dirt and exposed root, and the kind of beauty only nature can get away with. Most people wouldn't touch property like that with a 10-foot pole. Too much erosion, too much paperwork, too many ways to lose everything in a landslide. But me? I saw a puzzle. I spent my life solving puzzles like this that I moved in just after I retired, and from day one, I started planning. The house was safe, anchored right into bedrock, but the slope out back, mostly loose fill, maybe a half-century of runoff and bad grading, needed help. I ran my own soil tests, designed a retaining wall system from gabion baskets and geogrid fabric, poured every ounce of know-how I'd picked up working on bridges and hillside highways into that 38-foot wall. Not flashy, not even visible from most angles, just strong, quiet, and exactly what that land needed. Permits, blueprints, county approvals, all by the book. I covered the slope in native grass, installed drains, checked the weep holes after every storm. For 5 years, nothing budged. Not in the winter rains, not in the little quake that rattled the valley one spring. I figured I'd finally outsmarted the mountain. Then the HOA came knocking. At first it was just the usual, newsletters about mailbox colors and lawn height, the kind of rules you humor to keep the peace. But when Marcy Weller became president, things changed. She'd show up at the community barbecue with her glass of Chardonnay, wander past my fence, and say things like, "Ash, don't you think your wall's a bit severe? We're pushing for natural gradients, native lines, more harmony." I'd smile and nod and keep grilling my burgers. But you know how it is. Sometimes it's not about the wall. It's about power. A month later, I got my first notice. Unauthorized structure detected. Violation of aesthetic compliance. I nearly laughed. I sent back all the permits, photos, slope analysis. They didn't care. Next came the fine, then the threat. Take it down in 60 days, or we'll do it for you. I knew what I was up against. Not ignorance. Ego. The meeting was packed. Marcy at the front flipping through slides of unsightly modifications, hurting property values. There was my wall, fourth on the list. She called it aggressive, an eyesore. I stood and told the room. That wall is holding up 600 tons of unstable dirt. Call it ugly, but it's saving your homes. A few people nodded. Most didn't meet my eyes. Marcy thanked me for my passion, then gave me 60 days to comply. I left feeling like I'd tried to explain gravity to a room full of cats. 3 days later, a letter came. Final warning, embossed seal, all legalese. Remove the wall or face daily fines, legal action, contractor intervention. I spent a whole day just staring at it, not out of fear, but out of that old engineer's itch to document everything. I took photos, copied every report, even flagged the county zoning exception for engineered stabilization on private land. Sent it all by certified mail, email, and dropped a copy at the clubhouse myself. Nothing for weeks. I thought maybe logic had gotten through. You know what I mean? Then one Saturday, a white truck rolled up, a couple guys in reflective vests got out, and said they were here to start removing a retaining wall per HOA orders. I nearly lost it. Showed them the permits. Told them if they so much as touched a stone, I'd have the sheriff there before they hit the second shovel. They left, slow but smart. That should have been the end, but it wasn't. Next HOA meeting, Marcy went full judge and jury, reading statements about resident noncompliance. I stood up again, laid it out plain. If you remove that wall, you gamble with safety. She smiled that politician smile, thanked me, and the board voted unanimous for removal. I appealed to the city, civil matter. Called my lawyer, gray area. Weeks dragged by. One morning, while I was at the dentist, the crew came back. This time, They just broke in and started demolition. When I got home, the mesh was torn, stones scattered, my rosemary uprooted. I called the police, filed trespass charges, called the city. The HOA claimed the wall was failing, that they were mitigating risk. But the slope was quiet for 2 days. Then I saw it. The dew clinging weird on the dirt, little waves in the soil, like something breathing underneath. I'd seen this before, small signs, micro-movements. I flagged the ground, took measurements. Every day, the flag shifted, the cracks grew. I went door to door warning neighbors. Most shrugged, some thanked me, but one, Cynthia Hall, a civil litigator, looked at my data and didn't blink. "You're not bluffing, are you?" "No, ma'am." She called an emergency meeting. The HOA refused. They'd already paid some landscaping consultant who'd never even walked the slope. The ground didn't care about pride. 8 days after demolition, a hairline crack opened at dawn, running like a scar across the slope. The county finally sent a geotech out. Young guy, Daniel. He took one look, called it a slope stability emergency. County posted warnings. Marcy sent an email downplaying it, but you could feel the mood shifting. People started asking me about sandbags, evacuation. By now, half the street whispered about the HOA's arrogance. Then came the rain. First it was just a drizzle, then the real storm hit, soaking everything. I watched flags vanish, cracks widen, soil slump. Neighbors messaged me about bubbling water in the park, about soft ground behind their fences. By nightfall, trees leaned, mailboxes tilted. At 12:05 a.m., it started with a pop, then a groan. The slope gave way. Mud, trees, pipes, everything in its path slid into the canyon. 3 homes partially collapsed. Emergency crews arrived, floodlights, chaos. Marcy was found in her backyard, shivering, repeating, "I told them it would be fine." Next morning, the county closed the lower ridge. Official cause: removal of permitted wall, unauthorized excavation, gross negligence. The rumors started quick. Some neighbors whispered my wall had caused it. Barbara, the treasurer, brought me a flyer. Engineers' wall destabilized the ridge. No name, just fear. The local news picked it up. But Cynthia fought back, organized a legal fund, called in experts. Dr. Bader, a retired geotech, analyzed the site. This wasn't caused by a wall, he said. It was caused by the absence of one. His report nailed it. We filed suit. Meanwhile, the HOA's lawyer fired off a cease and desist at me, claimed I'd caused division, even defamation. I laughed. They tried to bury the truth like they'd buried the slope, but the documentation was unbreakable. Depositions started. My kitchen turned into a war room. Charts, diagrams, photos, logs. I presented to the county. Cynthia led the homeowners. We showed them the emails, Marcy admitting, even if he's right, it has to go. The county suspended the HOA, opened a criminal investigation, and Barbara resigned. Then 2 more board members. Marcy disappeared. Insurance companies denied every claim. "Sue your HOA," the adjusters said. The board dissolved after a community vote. Neighbors started helping each other for real. No more silly rules, no more sameness. Just people rebuilding, forgiving, growing pride in every quirky lawn and homemade bench. After all that, I stood by the lake behind my house. My son came to visit. My granddaughter watched rabbits in the rosemary. The slope, now county reinforced, held steady. The lesson? Listen to the people who build, who understand what holds and what gives. Even in a world obsessed with appearances, you need substance. You need foundations to S.O. Here's what I want to ask you. If you've ever doubted the person raising a warning or let pride outweigh precaution, what do you think justice really looks like? Who's responsible when the ground shifts? Nature, negligence, or all of us for ignoring the cracks until it's too late? Share your take in the comments. Community, law, common sense. Where's the real line? And how do we make sure we don't cross it again?